That's our other theme today, is no judgment.
Exactly.
Age is natural and beautiful, and don't judge people for drinking Starbucks. I don't judge them for drinking
Starbucks
it.
tea.
I just judge Starbucks for existing. I'm really deeply against corporate greed. I am not specifically socialist or Republican or Democrat or anything else. I just try to be reasonable, and I recognize that no system survives human greed. And I rail against human greed, and corporate greed is just human greed magnified. So I'm against capitalism as it stands right now, because we've got a hidden aristocracy. We've got people that don't own land, they own stocks. And the people that own stocks take all of the profit for doing nothing. They helped start a company, and now they own part of that company, and they expect to make all the profit, which means the workers make minimum wage, the store owners, or the managers make minimum wage, the customers pay top dollar, and the people that are doing nothing get all the profit. This is my problem. It's like privately owned companies and companies that are owned by them.
That way, but
yeah,
it makes all the sense.
I don't see a way to fix it, but I hate it. That bothers the hell out of me.
Move.
To the moon, maybe. But again, it could be done responsibly.
Yeah.
And like the guy that owns Bob's Red Mill that makes like almond flour and brown rice flour. I eat a lot of that shit, by the way. It was a privately owned company. It was his name's not Bob, but I just read this. He recently reached retirement age, and rather than go public, despite many offers to start up stock options for his company, he turned the company over to his employees.
Aww.
The employees now own Bob's Red Mill.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's as it should be.
That's like Costco has something like that. Like I know the CEO or whatever of Costco, like he started, like he's a family man. I know he pays like his workers. I don't remember. Like a story came out semi-recently, something similar.
Yeah.
And I think that's
a
great.
good way to be.
Yeah.
I'm just against greed. I'm against greed. If you can be responsible with your wealth, be wealthy. But the dehumanizing that comes with wealth when you're disconnected from the people who don't have it.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, I don't know that, you might skip through this part, it's boring as shit, but my father, dedicated conservative Republican his whole life, which means I was until I grew up and started thinking for myself.
Yeah,
I'll own that.
Same.
I'll own that. And I started thinking to myself, and I'm like, well, I can't identify with either party. I'm just going to join the one whose candidate I support right now. And I've changed back and forth a couple times over the years. But my father thinks he's rich, even though he's not. He was raised rich, and he was raised to think like a rich person. So he always votes conservative Republican, and he's always bitching about his taxes and not wanting to pay the government for anything, that's not a partisan issue. Nobody likes to pay the government for anything. And talking about people who get benefits as like they're lazy, unemployed riffraff.
That's exactly how my parents would talk about people.
And he loves to watch It's a Wonderful Life every year, and he roots Team Bailey, and when that speech comes on, he cheers. I'm like, but you're Potter, Dad, do you see that? You're Potter. You just called unemployed people a bunch of discontented He's 100% Potter, and he doesn't realize it. I'm like...
That's, yes. I think that's like a lot of people, though, who are Republican conservatives, is they think that they're a part of one group when they're really not.
Yeah. I'm trying real hard not to keep this political, but I can't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Not that I've never met any moronic Democrats. I've met morons of every stripe.
There's morons everywhere.
But humanizing is the important part, regardless of your ideology. And if you have an ideology, ask yourself if it's the same one your parents had and where you learned it from, is all. And then go ahead. I'm not going to judge you for that either. But if you have an ideology, be able to back it with reasons besides my town's red or blue or purple or whatever the fuck. But anyway, yeah, you might want to skip that part. We a little ranty there. Skip that back to talk about porn. Do you have pets? I forget.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I have 2 doggies.
Yee, what kind of doggies?
They are... Where's my phone? I'm going to show you a picture.
I'd love to see those.
One is a Maltipoo.
Yee.
And another is... they're both girls. She's a Chihuahua mix, I believe. Yeah, she's a Chihuahua mix, but we don't know what she's mixed with. She's a rescue. And they're really, really cute babies. These are my cute babies.
Look at them.
These are my cute babies.
Look. I have cats. I love dogs. I just don't have one at this time, and I don't plan to for a while because they're a lot of work. But oh, look at that!
Yeah, they're really cute. They're just like the cutest little nugs. If it will, there we go.
A friend of mine had a Chihuahua Greyhound mix, which is a small dog and easy to take care of, but has all the personality of a big dog. So it doesn't bark a lot. It's calm and confident.
Yeah, that's cool.
I just don't want to picture that mating ritual because somebody had to use a stepladder or somebody else was sore for a long time.
No, I feel like more likely that was an artificial insemination.
Let's hope so, because that would have been awkward.
Yeah, and my babies are so small; they're literally like yay big.
Nice.
They're so small. It's funny though because even though they're the same size, so this is Vita, the Chihuahua's Vita, and then the white one is Brie. Nice. Vita is like twice as heavy as Brie. She's a dense dog. And it's really funny because she'll see Brie run across us, you know, as she's like getting a ball or whatever it might be. So she does the same thing, except she has she'll pounce on my stomach, and I'm like, ugh, because I'm like, you are not as small as you think you are, little dog. Like she's this big, but she's like 8-9 pounds. Like she's very dense.
Nice. So, do you have like a P.O. box or an Amazon wish list or something where people can send you dog treats?
Yes, I have an Amazon wish list.
All right.
The link.
Text it to me and I'll put it on. Put it on here.
Yeah.
If I forgot, then that looked really bad.
But the link's on my Amazon. I mean, not my Amazon. Sorry. The link is on my Twitter page to my Amazon.
Oh, there you go. So if I fucked it up and didn't do it right now, just go to her Twitter page and you'll be fine.
And I do have a P.O. box.
I was considering whether to get one.
I like it. It's really nice because people can totally send me stuff that isn't on my wish list very easily.
And I thought now that I'm doing this thing, I could do those gift opening things, but in the car. Not while I'm driving,
cool.
but in the car.
That'd be super cool.
I just recognize the car is way sexier than me, or at least in my head, the car is way sexier than me.
I wish I had I really want to get a Subaru Outback.
Ooh, I have a friend that has one of those. They're fucking sweet.
I love snowboarding, and we go up to Big Bear all the time. And we just bought our Icon passes for next season.
Excellent.
So we're gonna go to Colorado because we went there this past December, and my best friend lives there, and there's great mountains out there. And we rented a Subaru Outback while we were there, and we were both like, we love, because we both knew like next time we have to buy a car, we got to get a 4-wheel drive, just 4-wheel or all-wheel.
Because of what you do, yeah.
Yeah. And very excited. And
this is not an all-wheel drive. This is way too much muscle in the back tires for rainy days. I'm driving really careful today. That's cool.
Yeah, I want a Subaru Outback.
They're nice cars. A friend of mine has one, and she loves it. She takes it everywhere.
Yeah, I have.
Really cool car.
I still, at 24 years old, I still have never had to buy a car for myself. When I was in high school and I got my driver's license, my parents bought a car for me. It's really for themselves to make it convenient because my school was a 30-minute commute, and I got my license and they didn't want to take me to school anymore. So that's how I got a car. And then after that, I was in college, so I was just on campus. I didn't need a car. And then after that, my dad got a new business car. He got the truck he's always wanted. Ooh, and so I got gifted his old business vehicle.
What was that?
For my college graduation. Hyundai Sonata.
Hyundai, okay. I haven't driven a Hyundai. I hear they're darn reliable. Not so much? Not that one?
This one has had a lot of recalls. They had to put in an entire new engine in it.
Yikes.
Before they gave it to me.
Ow.
I'm not complaining. I still haven't had to buy a vehicle, so...
Yeah, good point.
It gets me where I need to go, and it's nice. It's just not the car I would have ever picked for myself, but, like, hey, again, zero complaints. I'm very fortunate to not have to have bought a car yet at 24.
My first car was a Honda Civic. First one I bought. I mean, I drove my brother's car, and I drove my dad's car.
Yeah.
The first one that was mine was a Honda Civic. 11-year-old stick shift. I beat the shit out. I drove it like I drive this, except this one's built for it. I killed it doing 90 miles an hour on the freeway. The timing belt snapped and smashed into the engine, and it instantly became a box with wheels.
Oh, no! That does not sound good.
And then I was stuck in a station wagon for a little while, because that's what they let me drive off the lot with. And then I got a real job, and I bought a car for me and my sweetie. We both got Saturns. I loved Saturn. They were a great company. And at that time, every fetish performer I knew drove a Saturn. I like had an extended, there was a dozen of us that all drove Saturns. And then when my Saturn smashed is when I got the Firebird, which led to this. So, whatever. I'm not really a car guy. I mean, I can tell that one's probably a Mustang, and I think that's a Dodge, you know?
Yeah.
But I was always obsessed with this car because my aunt had one. When I was a kid, my mother's younger sister, who was, I don't know, 10 years older than me or whatever, she came to live with us for a while, and she drove a Formula Firebird, and I thought she was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in the world, and therefore I thought her car was the coolest car I'd ever seen.
That makes a lot of sense.
She turned me on to like Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica, all the kid stuff that a kid should enjoy, at least at that time. She would talk about classic rock. I'm like, so when I had the chance to get a Firebird, I always thought of her every time I got in the car. I told my mom that, and she cried.
That's so cute. I like that.
I mean, some other badass story about growing up in a garage and being a third-generation mechanic, and I built this car myself. That's what I meant to say. I'm gonna blow my whole image. Like, you guys think I'm a badass villain, and not once you watch this YouTube channel. We should get out of here before I say anything else embarrassing.
Not embarrassing at all.
You're sweet.
I like it. It is humanizing is what it is.
It is humanizing, is it not? Put that defroster on. Usually when I fog up the windows is because I've been making out in the car. Not today.
Not today. I have a trip, a camping trip planned for April.
You like camping?
Yeah, I love camping. Well, I mean, we have a trailer, so like, I don't like tent camping.
Glamping.
Well, see, it's not even
It's
to
not
me.
glamping. It's
I would want to go glamping. I've seen like yurts and stuff on Airbnb where it's got like a whole bed and like it's just lovely.
Nice.
That kind of glamping I'd be so down for. But yeah, we have a trailer. I grew up with a trailer. That's the thing is like, I feel like once you do trailer camping, you can't handle tent camping. It's too convenient.
I like tent camping, but as I approach 50, I'm like, that's a lot of rocks on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tired.
And I'm just a delicate princess. I'm like the princess and the pea. I can't do tent camping. Too sensitive.
There was a group called, they called it Kinky Camping. It was up Central Coast. It was near Santa Barbara on the riverbed out there. There's a bunch of campgrounds. And this guy who had he had this huge tent that he like took to Burning Man and put a BDSM dungeon in this 2,000 square foot tent.
That's very cool.
And in his spare time, he's like, let's all go camping. And so they rented out the entire campground.
That's so cool.
And then everybody like because I like camping, I just don't like the idea of who else might be next to me while I'm camping.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I'm not going
We
to
have a
on a 4-day hike.
great spot.
But yeah,
But it's very isolated
you
compared to all the other campsites, so we like to just continuously book that one.
This was cool because it was all kinky people. It was a huge
that's
pile
so
of BDSM people camping together.
I really want to go to Camp Crucible. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yes, it's on the East Coast. And it's like I'm assuming it's like a summer camp for kids, but there's like 2 weeks out of the year. I think it's like May, like right when schools are starting to stop. So like there's no summer camp for kids yet.
Yeah.
And so they rent out the whole campground, and they have like a pony play area. They have a kids area. They do staged like kidnaps and rape play.
I gotta go.
Oh my god, and there's like different PlayStations for like suspension and like they do classes, and then there's like socials.
I know Dark Odyssey does a camp like that.
Where is that?
They move around. Dark Odyssey they've got like one event every season.
Okay.
And one's on the West Coast and one's on the East Coast.
Okay.
And two of them are Central. But I don't remember.
I haven't heard of Dark Odyssey. I'll have to check that out. Cause I learned about Camp Crucible like 3 years ago, and I've been wanting to go. It's just like not very cheap to get over to the East Coast, and the camp itself is pretty expensive because they take care of.
Do they have presenters and classes and stuff?
Yes, I believe so.
Oftentimes you can get in for discount or free if you're presenting.
Oh, well, I know they do. They do discounts for like everyone there is required to help out, whether it be in like the kitchen or whatever.
Cool. That's cool.
You can opt out by paying more, but the general ticket requires, I think, at least 2 days of work and 4-hour shifts, which is like nothing, you know?
No, yeah, that's totally cool.
So that would be super. I really, really, really want to do that. Sounds really fun, especially like because I can just and like you can walk around nude, like the whole. There's like lake and there's people. There's like it's like taxis, so they have like golf carts and like people will drive the golf carts and take people from like one station to another because it's really spread out.
Cool.
And like you can just like be naked, or I can like walk around in my onesie, and like it just sounds really, really fun. And
that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Alright, we're somewhere recognizable now, so I'm going to turn this off for a minute until you can't see where we are. Alright, this is our final shot. You can't see it, but the parking lot's really dark, so Alison is holding up her phone light so we can... That is priceless. Well, providing everybody survives the outbreak with all of our zombie apocalypse training, we'll get back to work real soon.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to shooting with you again.
Yes,
You're
likewise.
always a fun day. Oh, that's one more thing I want to talk about while we have a second while we're sitting here, until your arm gets tired. When we worked together that first time, one of the things I loved best in hindsight about it was you were very clear about your limits and your preferences, and like anything that was going wrong during the shoot, you instantly said so. Like, don't touch me that way, or this nipple's too sensitive, or whatever it was. I loved that because it was instant feedback that tells me what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong, and that you had a good time at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You mentioned at the time that some directors have referred to you as problematic because of that level of involvement. So first of all, fuck those guys, they're wrong. That's not how you do business. You listen to everything they say. But second of all, I thought that was cool. Do you still feel that way? Like, do you think it ever cost you work?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's cost me tons of work. I think that's why I'm not working as much now, because especially as because like when I first started, it was like because I was like timid, I would actually speak up because I was nervous about things.
Right.
Now I speak up because I'm like, no, fuck you, I'm not doing that.
Me that much.
Yeah, exactly. And so like they all want a girl that'll just go along with whatever the fuck they want them to do.
I get wanting your workday to be easy, but your workday's easy when you listen and pay attention and work together.
It's true.
It's just that one I'll totally judge you on. If you're one of those people that like, I want a girl that will put up with whatever I do, get out of my field of business. You're bad for all of us.
It's very, very
So, on that cheerful note, I want to thank you again for all the times we've shot together. They've all been fantastic. I look forward to doing more.
Likewise.
Go on being you. I love your hair. I love your whole look. I love your tattoo. I think it's lovely.
Thank you.
And,
I love it too. And my hair. I never loved my hair right after getting it done. It was
very
strange.
I'm resisting the urge. That's why I'm wearing gloves, so I don't just touch your hair. Oh, so creepy. I like it. Thank you for sitting in my car with me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having
me.
me. Thank you for the cake pop and the tea I barely drank because it's too hot. But I will enjoy it when I get upstairs.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Did you see her hair? My God. Wow. Jesus, what a pretty girl. When I say hashtag villain candy, that's what I'm talking about. God damn, what a pretty girl.